Hey guys, welcome to RNerd7. Today we're going to be talking about men and our struggles. And I'm sure that a lot of you clicked on this video because of the thumbnail, so I just need to put this out there right up front. I have the utmost respect for Allen and what he is doing here on YouTube. I think that he is doing a phenomenal job, and I myself consume a lot of his content. Now, I was watching one of the videos that he put out not too long ago regarding the top 5 things that men need to stop doing. And I felt like there was one important thing that was missing that I feel all men struggle with, including myself. And that is listening to our ego and putting what we want above everyone else, including God. Now, I think that this is a very important thing for us to keep in mind, because this could be the one thing that could help you resist the things that Allen talks about in his video. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Now, I think that most of us have played Mario, and the whole objective of the game is to start at one place and end on the other. Now, when it comes to this game, a lot of people figure out through playing that there are places within the video game where there are hidden things like extra lives. Now, you finding that extra life could mean the difference between game over or you having another opportunity to continue the game. And I feel that in that same way, us men keeping in mind that we have an inclination to do what we want at the expense of others could be that one thing that prevents us from falling into a lot of the temptations that Allen talks about. And if we look at each of these temptations that he talks about, we can see that they all stem from a need for men to do whatever they want to do. For example, the inappropriate interactions with women in social media stems from us wanting them to know that we're liking what we are seeing. Finding our identity in work and possessions and us telling other people how good we're doing stems from us wanting you to know that we are better than you. Now, misleading women in dating is also another one that stems from us only being focused on what we want instead of also thinking about the future of the other person. Pornography is the same thing. We're thinking about what we want at the moment at the expense of our significant other, or promoting an industry that we know that is anti-biblical. The other thing that he talks about is about men being passive in their leadership role, where we want to give all that responsibility to another person so that we can take it easy. And again, it stems from us wanting to take the easy way out and not considering the damage that is happening to the other person. And think about it. Every time you're looking at a movie and you're looking at a superhero and that superhero decides to be selfish, what happens? There are great repercussions for their actions, and nothing good ever comes out of it. And most of the greats in the Bible fell because they listened to their ego and stopped listening to God and what he wanted. David and Bathsheba, what happened? David was only focused on what he wanted, not what God wanted. If we look at Solomon started off correctly. He started off praying for God to guide him, and that's why God makes him the wisest man in the world. But what happens? He starts focusing on what he wants and he forgets about what God wants. He starts listening to his ego. And we ourselves are subject to these same dangers. And I just want to leave you before we end with one final verse where it says in Matthew chapter 26 verse 39. And this is speaking about Jesus, and it says, "He went on a little farther and bowed with his face to the ground, praying, 'My Father, if it is possible, let this cup of suffering be taken away from me. Yet I want your will to be done, not mine.'" So even Jesus himself had to wrestle with the flesh in order to make sure that the will of the Father would be carried out. So we need to ask ourselves, what is it that God wants from me, not what I want? So if you ask me, one of the most dangerous things and one of the things that we need to be mindful of and stop doing is listening to our flesh, and instead focus on listening to God and acting on the things that he wants us to do in our lives. Hey guys, I hope that this video was helpful. Allen, if you ever watch this video, I have the greatest respect for you, man. I love what you're doing on YouTube. Guys, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Here are a couple of suggestions for you. And as always, remember, we must persevere.